एवरीवन, वेलकम एवरीवन टू द डेली न्यूज एनालिसिस ऑफ 10th of December 2023। तो आज की इंपॉर्टेंट आर्टिकल जो भी हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर से है उन देखते हैं। ग्रीन टर्टल नेस्टिंग रेंज एक्सपांड्स अंडर वार्मिंग क्लाइमेट। देन व्हाई डिड मिचांग ब्रिंग सो मच रेन? व्हाट डज a special package mean for PVTGs? Are crimes against women on the rise? The grand visor of COP28, चाइना कंज्यूमर प्राइस फॉल फास्टेस्ट इन 3 years। तो ये सारे हम लोग आज कवर करेंगे। पहला जो है ग्रीन टर्टल नेस्टिंग रेंज एक्सपांड्स अंडर वार्मिंग क्लाइमेट। Rising global temperature could lead to an increase in the nesting range of green turtles in the Mediterranean Sea, as per a study in scientific report. Under the worst-case climate scenario, the nesting range could increase by over 60% point, spreading west from the current area to include much of the North African, Italian, and Greek coastlines. Human-caused climate change has caused sea surface temperature to increase globally, with severe impacts on some marine life. Sea turtles are potentially particularly susceptible as the sex of their offsprings is dependent on incubation temperature. Although previous research has investigated the effects of climate change on several different populations of sea turtles worldwide, there has been very little research into the green turtles population in the Mediterranean Sea nesting site. The researchers developed a model for predicting the suitability of a point on the Mediterranean coastline as a green turtle nesting location. The author first assessed the predictive power of the model by evaluating it against 178 confirmed nesting locations recorded between 1982 and 2019 and mainly limited to Turkey and Cyprus in the eastern Mediterranean sector. They found that sea surface temperature, sea salinity, and the human population density most affected the sustainability of the specific location as a nesting site. They then modeled how four different greenhouse gas emission scenarios could affect the nesting range of green turtles in 2100. They found that progressively worse climate scenarios were associated with greater increases in the nesting range in the Mediterranean. Under the worst-case climate scenario modeled, the nesting range increased by 62.4% points and included the North African coastline to Algeria, much of Italy and Greece, and the South Adriatic Sea. However, the author warned that this increase in the turtle nesting range in the heavily populated central and western Mediterranean would bring them into increased contact with humans and urbanized beaches, which could negatively affect nesting nesting success. The next है, why did Michang bring so much rain? How did the cyclone from over Bay of Bengal and intensify and spread over Coromandel coast? On December 5, Cyclone Michaung, propound mid-Jong, made landfall over Bapatla in Andhra Pradesh after a week-long journey over the Bay of Bengal that also brought heavy rain over North Tamil Nadu. How did it cyclone storm form? On November 29, the Indian Meteorological Department (IMD) identified a well-marked low-pressure area in the southwest Bay of Bengal. It was expected to become a depression by November 30, a depression on December 2, and a cyclonic storm by December 3. Thereafter, the IMD forecast that the system would move northwards coastal Andhra Pradesh, bringing rain to North Tamil Nadu on December 3 and 4. It was expected to make landfall between Nellore and Machilipatnam as a cyclonic storm by December 5. On December 2, it has come to within 400 km of Chennai and included rain over the city's south. By December 3 morning, the system has become cyclonic and received the name Michaung. How did Michaung proceed? As cyclone Michaung approached North Tamil Nadu, Chennai, Kanchipuram, Tiruvallapura and Chengalpattu began to receive rain. The state government declared a public holiday in these areas on December 4-5 after the IMD forecast heavier showers. By December 3, Cyclone Michaung was roughly 200 km east of the city and had slowed to 8 km per hour by December 4 morning. It had moved to within 150 km, dumping a large amount of rain on Chennai with strong winds gusting up to 80 km per hour. It continued to stay close to Chennai on December 4 evening with many areas in the city receiving more than 150 mm of rain in 24 hours. There were several standards in the place where the water could not drain together with a citywide power cut. The downpour ceased early on December 5 as the cyclone resumed its northward journey. Did it intensified? On December 4, the cyclonic storm intensified into a supercyclonic storm. Tropical cyclones are engines that use a warm sea. It also ascend in the process. It becomes cooler, which condenses the vapor and forms cloud. Condensation releases heat, which makes the air lighter and causes it to ascend further. As it does, the surrounding air moves in underneath, creating the surface winds associated with cyclones. This simplified process is the region intensification. So large water bodies absorb most of the heat of global warming. The intensification is also greater if the cyclone spends more time over water before landfall, as Cyclone Michaung did of the Tamil Nadu coast. What does intensification matter? Why does intensification matter? Cyclone draw heat from the sea and move it to the upper atmosphere where winds carry it to the Earth's pole. An intensifying cyclone will do the more powerfully. A study published in May 2020 found that tropical cyclones with wind speeds upward of 185 km per hour had become 15% more likely since 1979. Cyclone Michaung's own intensification was also assisted by modern Julian oscillation, among other factors. According to an advisory from the Regional Specialized Meteorological Center, tropical cyclones New Delhi, the MJO consists of a pair of weather anomalies that move eastward around the world once every 1 to 2 months. The leading side imposes dry weather while the trailing side imposes wet rainy weather. The advisory said that on December 3, the MJO near Cyclone Michaung maintained favorable conditions for rain formation. Cyclone intensification complicates forecast models and allows storms to make landfall with more energy, more further inland survive longer and bring their on-ground devastation to previously inaccessible areas. What happened to Michaung? Cyclone Michaung crossed over land just south of Bapatla district in Andhra Pradesh from 12:30 p.m. on December 5. It brought heavy rain and winds with a sustained speed of 90 to 100 km per hour. As it crossed over in the process, uprooting trees and electric poles. At 3:30 p.m. on December 5, the IMD reported based on radar data that the storm had completed landfall an hour later. An IMD bulletin said the storm system was moving north at 11 km per hour while weakening into a cycling storm over the next couple hours. By 6 p.m. on December 6, the storm had devolved into a well-marked low-pressure area. What does a special package mean for PBTGs? On December 6, the Tribal Affairs Ministry told the Rajya Sabha that the population of a particularly vulnerable tribal groups PBTGs was not in declining, citing information provided by the Office of the Registrar General and Census Commissioner of India (ORGI). This was in variance with the state-wide census data provided by the Ministry to the parliamentary panel last year, showing that the numbers of these tribal groups fell almost 40% in at least 9 states and union territories in the first decade of the century. Who are PVTGs? Initially known as primitive tribal groups, the PVTGs are defined by the government as India communities that show either a declining or stagnant population, use of pre-agrarian technology, economic backwardness, low literacy. They found to be living in some of the remotest and most inaccessible areas in the country. There are 75 such communities which are spread over 18 states and union territories. According to government figures, a book particularly vulnerable tribal groups of in India privileges and predicaments published by the Anthropological Survey of India in 2016 and edited by K.K. Mishra and others says the highest number of refugees are found in Odisha, 15, followed by Andhra Pradesh 12 and Bihar and Jharkhand 9, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh 7, Tamil Nadu 6 and Kerala and Gujarat 5 each. The rest writers said are scattered in Maharashtra, West Bengal each 3 each, Karnataka and Uttarakhand 2 each, and on one each in Rajasthan, Tripura, and Manipur. All the four tribal groups in Andaman and one in Nicobar, the recognized PBTGs. The last available census data counted all 75 total number of around 27.6 lakh. In the introduction, Mishra and Suresh Patel write that one of the reports of the Government of India reveals that most of these groups were small in number had not attended any significant level of the social economic progress and inhabited remote localities with poor infrastructure and administrative supports, thus becoming the most vulnerable sections among the scheduled tribes needing special attention. What does the PM Janman aim to do? The cabinet recently approved 24,000 crore rupees Pradhan Mantri जनजाति आदिवासी न्याय महाअभियान after the Prime Minister announced the particularly vulnerable tribes groups development mission early this year that would take basic facilities like roads, powers, homes, mobile connectivity, etc. to the most backward among the scheduled tribes and PBTGs among the scheduled tribes, the PBTGs. The first announcement of this package came early this year during the budget session when Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced that a PM PBTG development mission would be launched for which the government was planning a 15,000 crore expenditure to be spent over a period of 3 years. Official that the package has seen a massive contribution from the office of the President Draupadi Murmu, who took a special interest in overseeing the plans. And how will it work? The allocation cleared by Union Cabinet on November 29 for this package stood at 24,104 crore rupees, out of which the central share would be 15,336 crore and the share of respective state government would stand at 8,768 crore rupees. The government has said that as for the launch of the package, there were a little over 22,000 villages where PBTG resides and where this will be implemented. However, the implementation of a program will be done through my 9 ministries, which will ensure that existing schemes are taken to these PBTG inhabited villages. The target that the government has set for itself are to build 4.9 lakh Pakka homes, lay 8,000 kilometers of connecting roads, link all households with piped water, set up 1,000 mobile medical units, construct 2,500 Anganwadi centers, 100 multipurpose centers, and 500 hostels, install mobile towers in 3,000 villages, and so forth. The plan also intends to set up vocations and skill training centers in 60 aspirational PBTGs block and build 500 Bandhan Vikas Kendras to help people trade in forest produce. In addition to connecting 1 lakh of these households to an off-grid solar power system and bringing in solar streets light out of the entire 24,000 crore allocations, more than 19,000 crore rupees is to just build the Pakka homes under the PM Awas scheme and 8,000 kilometers of connecting roads, which will be implemented by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Senior officials in Tribal Welfare Ministry told the Hindu that its own scheme for the development of a PBTG is just a small component of the PM PBTG mission. The goals are to build roads, telecom connectivity, water and sanitation. The monies for these efforts will go into the scheduled tribes component of these respective ministries, from where it will be allocated for development of these groups. An official explained the Tribal Affairs Ministry's budget estimates for 23-24 showed just 256.14 crore rupees allocated for the development of PPTJs. What are the challenges? Ever since the announcement of this package, officials of the Tribal Affairs Ministry have been making contacts with the 22,000 PBTG village in order to understand the needs of each of them. Many of the officers were sent on tours to assess the villages needs, following which a detailed proposal was placed before the cabinet, which cleared the initial estimate for the package in November. However, even as the government proceeds to implement the project, the principal challenge facing it is the lack of the current data, which has already been flagged by the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Social Justice and Empowerment. While the Ministry of Tribal Affairs has said that it had started conducting baseline survey to measure the progress of the campaign, it is yet to compile an accurate and current disaster data set of their population, even as per the population data submitted to the House panel last year, which was based on the sorry, 2011 census. The government was unable to tabulate the population of PBTG in Maharashtra, Manipur, and Rajasthan. The current project is thus going ahead with the estimate that the PBTG population is around 28 lakhs. Further, the government has not yet made any result of the baseline survey public. It told Parliament this week that no census since 1951 had accounted for PBTGs separately and has not submitted any data on their socio-economic indices to the House panel either. In 2013, a National Advisory Council (NAC) report on the state of PBTG and had recommended that as a first, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs should design and conduct a census specifically for the PBTG community to not just illuminate but also find out the status of the education, health, and housing. Friends, this is all for today. Due to illness, I am not moving further, so let's see what happened from tomorrow onwards. So we'll start regular basis from tomorrow onwards. So till then keep studying. Okay, thank you.